All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto market. And Bitcoin has been pumping today. Wow, we have seen some explosive price action to the upside. Now, the question is this the start of a much bigger impulse where we could go to 105K or even new all-time highs? Or what is the deal with what is happening here? Let's go ahead and dive into the price action today. Let's see what's going on here. So first off, I want to say in yesterday's video, we were right in the second video I made yesterday. We were right about this point of control here, this large point of control from the November 11th range. And we had hit into it. We were seeing this small pullback here, but we came into the charts and we started analyzing here, and we were seeing very strong money flow come up here. We were seeing no bull divs on any time frame. 1 hour bull divs were invalidated earlier on in the day because we were possibly forming 1 hour bear divs, excuse me, not bull divs, bear divs. And we looked in the 15-minute, we looked on all different time frames. We were not seeing any signs of bear div. And I said, okay, guys, you know what? We could pump straight through this thing. I did want to see another high into the naked weekly point of control, which I've deleted now because we just busted straight through it. But the fact that we barely hit into our purple box that I had here, and we saw that small rejection, and then overnight we did pump back into it, saw a small rejection again today. We hit the daily. I deleted that daily too, but we hit the daily. We saw a small rejection from the daily in this 2 hours here, and then we just pumped above it. But yesterday in the video, I talked about how Bitcoin and crypto was looking strong and that we might break through it and pump to the value area high. So I've got that here in yesterday's video. We're not really seeing that much bearish signals. No bear divs on the 15-minute. Money flow is rising on the 15-minute. Let's go to our 6-minute chart. Yeah, no bear divs on the 6-minute either. I mean, Bitcoin's looking bullish right now, guys. I mean, we might even bust through this above our point of control, come up to our smaller range value area high at like 98.5, 98.6. And we'll see what happens from there. You know, we've been talking about this. Trade the range until it breaks. Well, the other day, yeah, so guys, we did break that resistance and we did come up to the value area high today. Now, we are seeing a small rejection from the value area high in that anchored VWAP. Now, this anchored VWAP is a very important anchored VWAP that not a lot of people have on their charts. And I talked about this today in the Discord, and some people asked me, where's that anchored VWAP from? Because if you pull it from the all-time high, it's this one here. And this anchored VWAP is an important anchored VWAP. It was the first impulse down after our all-time high. So let's go to our 4-hour chart here. And you can see when we had that DeepSeek crash, which was this big impulse down here, I actually pulled it from the lows of the DeepSeek crash here. And you can see it was the lows. We were acting as support here, broke it to the downside. Now we did see this small deviation above it, but other than that, resistance, and it's been acting as kind of a resistance since the DeepSeek. It was a support and then resistance. So this to me has been an important anchored VWAP, and I left it on the chart, even though it's from an unusual position. Usually you want to pull an anchored VWAP from a low or a high or a key pivot point. Like, you know, this could be a nice anchored VWAP to pull from now. But I left that on the chart because that was our first major impulse down after the all-time high, and that's important. So we have that anchored VWAP on the chart, and look at where we came in today. We hit the value area high and pretty much to the dollar hit the anchored VWAP, and we're seeing that rejection from the anchored VWAP and from the value area high of our smaller range. So yes, we still just are in the range. Nothing really has changed except we pumped from the bottom of the range to the top of the range. If we break out of this range, Bitcoin can be in some really nice bullish price action here. What I was theorizing yesterday, and I talked about this in that video yesterday too, is the second video yesterday, is that we could be forming the start of a bigger 5-wave impulse to the upside. And what do I mean by that? In Elliott theory, you have a 5-wave impulse to the upside, then you'll see a 3-wave correction or a complex correction, which is a series of multiple 3-wave zigzag corrections in one bigger correction. But this could be just a wave 1 here. Maybe we're going to reject from the value area high, come down to the point of control area, or even the large point of control. Maybe our third wave ends at that 103K, see a pullback, and then end at 105K. I actually think our second wave, now that we're flipping our large point of control of our November 11th range we could backtest it as support and then see that big third wave explosion, which this is the long you want to catch, guys. On any impulse, if you can find support on a second wave and long the third wave, that is where you make your money. So I am watching this as now a potential larger impulse to the upside where we can see us top out in this area where we have a naked daily point of control at 104.8, and we also have a daily level up there. But also look at this. It's our 1-to-1 fib extinction target up here. Let me go on to the daily chart and show you guys we have a daily up there as well. So we have a fresh daily right at our naked daily point of control. You can see here. Let's mark that out real quick. So daily level here, right on top of the naked daily point of control at 104.732 is our naked daily point of control. Well, 104.742 is our daily level. We also have the ABC correction target. Now, if this is a bigger ABC, in a bigger ABC to the upside, we can still see an impulse within a bigger ABC. So actually, wave A of an ABC is often an impulse. Then you'll see a correction in wave B, and then wave C of an ABC is an impulse. So we could see something like, let's do this. That's horrible, but impulse here. Then you see your correction. And then you see another impulse. Here in a bigger ABC correction. Now, this would be an ABC correction to the upside where your A wave would be your first impulse, your B wave would be another, your corrective wave, and then your C wave would be your third impulse. So it's just degrees of Elliott wave theory. So we would have an ABC correction to the upside, possibly ending at 105K, 106K area, and we could see multiple impulses within that. Or if we're going to really break out and really be bullish, we could see a more macro impulse to the upside where we make new all-time highs. That is a possibility I'm watching. So this does look pretty impulsive though. Now, if we go onto the hourly time frame here and we look at this, yes, we are seeing a pullback from the value area high in the anchor VWAP now. And that actually would be a good spot to pull back from because we front ran this SFP. Now, this is very important, guys. Anytime, just like the other day when we front ran the 96.9K SFP, well, the next time we came up to it, we busted straight through it. We're front running the SFP of our range highs. And what range am I talking about? I'm talking about our 19-day range after our mega crash that happened a few Sundays ago. And so we've just been trading in this range here. We're at the value area high of the range. If we see a pullback on the first touch of the value area high, find support, next time we could really bust through it. And that would make sense for a wave 3 to bust through it as well because we front ran these key highs. These are the highs of the range. Now, the value area high is different from the actual highs of the range. So we're rejecting from the value area high, but we did not sweep the liquidity of the highs of that range. This range is a smaller range within our bigger daily range from November 11th to present day. And so we're still trading in our smaller range. We're not out of the woods yet. But if this is a wave 1, we see a pullback on a wave 2. Our wave 3 could bring us all the way up to 103K, or maybe our wave 3 brings us all the way up to 105K. Then we see a pullback and then make new all-time highs for our 5th wave. So this is something that I'm speculating here. On the daily time frame, it does look like we're going to confirm bull divs on the daily. Look at green dot on the daily today. Lower lows on the price action between these two wicks, higher lows on the momentum waves here. And I still don't like the way this money flow looks. But if we do close this daily candle bullish like it looks like we're going to, we have an hour and a half about until market close or till the daily close. So it's looking like we're going to confirm those bull divs on the daily. And a confirmation of bull divs on the daily near the bottom of our macro range would be a really nice way to start an impulse, a bigger impulse to the upside. All right, one thing I am still a little worried about though, guys, is this still could be, I don't like this structure in here. Actually, let me go on to my other chart real quick. And you can see I've been following like this 1 hour channel here, just taken from these two lows here and bring it up to this high here. And we've kind of been trading in this 1 hour channel, the whole push up from 93K all up here. And there's not much structure in here. I mean, this pullback we had earlier today was kind of nice here. But you can't clearly count any way like any impulsive waves in here, really. The only thing you could say is this could be a possible ABC correction. This would be your A wave. This would be your small pullback for a B wave and then your C wave. But if you're going to measure this as an ABC correction to the top of the smaller range, you can do a couple things here. You take your trend-based Fibonacci extinction, you go from the lows of A to the highs of A to the lows of B, and look at our 1-to-1 was just above us. Actually, we're pretty much hit it. We front ran it just a bit. And also the liquidity is right up there as well. So that's why I was speculating our 1-to-1 fib target is right at our SFP. Even if we bounce from this midline, which looks like we're trying to bounce from this midline right now. Yeah, trying to bounce from the midline of the channel. If we bounce and come up and take the liquidity before a real bigger correction, this could be an ABC. That's the only thing I'm worried about here. This is less likely to me than the impulse, though. But we have to keep both scenarios in our mind, and we just trade the range until it breaks. So we're at the top of the range. In the last few videos, the last few weeks, I'm saying trade the range until it breaks. Look for shorts at the highs of the range. Look for longs at the lows of the range. Well, we are at the highs of the range, so I will look for shorts if we get confirmation. And confirmation for me now would be an SFP of the range highs with a wick above the highs and a candle close below. Then I would short it and put my stop above that wick that was created and look for a drop to the point of control of that range, which is, let's actually just go back to Coinbase here. Now, Coinbase, the point of control of that smaller range, 19-day range, is about 96.2. What we can do right now is we can do a fib pull here on the current high, current low to current high. Now, this high could change here, but you can see our golden pocket is right at the value area low of the range. So what would be actually really nice to see, it would really fake a lot of people out, is if we do reject from where we're at now or even come a little bit higher, grab the liquidity and then reject, everyone would start getting really bearish that, oh gosh, that was just the end here. And this could be our wave one. Our wave two, a common target for a wave two is a golden pocket, which is also our value area low, and then see a huge explosion in our wave three all the way up to $103,000. Which is where our golden pocket and the value area high of our much larger range is, our more important range. The value area high of that range is right up here. And so that is something that I'm possibly watching for Bitcoin right now. It is looking pretty bullish here. Let's actually look. Yeah, I mean, we are starting to develop some bear divs here. So 15-minute, you can see this momentum wave is higher than this momentum wave. So higher highs in the price action, lower highs in the momentum waves. Money flow doesn't look the worst, but it is starting to flatten out here. So seeing some bear divs near our resistance level, that is to be expected. I do want to take that liquidity before seeing a real drop. And the fact that we don't have bear divs, like 1 hour, no bear divs. Let's go to the 2 hour. No bear divs, but the momentum wave is starting to top out. Money flow, it's a little bit unclear right now, but it looks like it could start rolling over here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do pull back from where we're at. Remember, this is the key anchored VWAP from our first impulse down after the all-time high. That's an important impulse to see down because that started the downtrend. So this anchored VWAP is really from the start of the downtrend, our first low on the big downtrend. And now we are rejecting from that anchor VWAP. We rejected from the anchor VWAP here, rejected from the anchor VWAP here. So this anchor VWAP is pretty important. If we can get a little bit higher to grab this liquidity, it would be healthier. And then we could see that retrace down. Now, I know that our golden pocket is at our value area low, but our 0.5 here is also at the point of control. And anytime you are in a range, you reclaim your value area low and you break your POC and flip it to support, which we did here, you can see if you do come to the value area high and reject, the point of control is a range to look for a bounce. So our point of control in our 0.5 is our first level of resistance, I would say. And look at, if we came a little bit higher on this fib pull, say we came up to like 99.1 here, SFP'd here, and then saw the drop, our 0.5 would be in perfect alignment with our point of control. Now, a wave two of a 5-wave impulse, common retracement targets are really like the 0.5 to the 786 for a wave two. Now, a wave four, you don't really want to see it go past the golden pocket area. But yeah, wave two, 0.5786. And so this 0.5 is really nice. And then also our golden pocket at our value area low. Those are the two main areas I'm looking for support if we do see a bigger pullback from this pump that we're seeing now. But Bitcoin's looking pretty strong. We're at the resistance of the day, the local resistance of our range. So you definitely shouldn't be looking for longs here. If you didn't take the long that Jason talked about earlier today in this drop here, then you missed out. You have to be patient, sit on your hands, and wait for a good entry. Even if you think it's going to go higher from here, the risk reward ratio is just not there. So you cannot take that long. You have to be patient and wait. If you want to be a long-term successful trader, you have to have risk management in mind on every trade. So yeah, that's pretty much what's going on with Bitcoin. Now let's go to our bearish pitchfork here, and you can see that we're even breaking above that upper band that I talked about in yesterday's video, and we're above. We're also rejecting from the Bybit value area high, which is a little bit lower than Coinbase's. It's about $150 lower than Coinbase's value area high, but I do think that. Let me get rid of this real quick here. I do think that the top of the pitchfork here. Now, let's actually do this real quick. Let me go from our 102.5K highs that we rejected up here at the weekly, and we had a naked weekly VWAP up, our naked weekly point of control up there. And let's turn on our golden pocket. So this golden pocket has not been hit yet since we've made this low 2 or 3 days ago. We'll look at where the golden pocket is, right at pretty much the top of the pitchfork here. So I do think that 99.3 area to 99.5 area could reject us as well. If we saw the SFP of these highs into our golden pocket, that's so nice. Now, in order for it to align with the top of the pitchfork, we'd have to chop here for a bit, which could be normal, or we could see a small pullback from where we're at now, maybe bounce from the bottom of our band and then come up here. And that would be the area I'd be looking for bear divs. That would also allow some time for some bear divs to form. As far as on our 1 hour chart, let me go to the 1 hour real quick. We don't really have time to make bear divs, but say we dump down here and retest our band as support, this would come down a little bit. And then we make a quick pump up to the golden pocket and the value area high. That would give some time for those bear divs to print on the hourly chart into the top of our pitchfork, into our golden pocket, grabbing that liquidity. So that's something that I am going to be watching for here on Bitcoin locally. We could see the pullback from where we're at now, though, guys. I mean, we did have that anchor VWAP there. That's an important anchor VWAP. The other day in my video, though, I talked about I would like to see a wick just a little bit past it to grab this liquidity of this high. We have not seen that yet. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen, because it looks like we're still trying to hold our trend here. And we are bouncing from our 1 hour channel. Actually, let me go on the 30 minutes so you can get a better look at this. You can see this channel here that we've kind of been trading in. We're bouncing from the midline right now. Let's actually go. Let's go to the 12-minute chart. Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the channel hold. The trend is still intact. Looks like the algos still want to play the trend. Channels are really good because algorithms trade and these bots trade Bitcoin a lot, like 70, 80% of trading is done with algos and bots. So anytime they start a trend like this, you can take a channel to try to find that trend, and you can play the trend. Like, look at rejection, 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 finally broke above it. It's just, so what can we look for? Also, guess where the top of the channel is? Depending on time-wise, it's going to be around that 99.3 golden pocket and the top of our bearish pitchfork. All right, so that's about it for Bitcoin as far as price action goes, but let's look at our liquidity here, and let's zoom in on liquidity and see what's going on here with our liquidity. So this is our Model 3 heat map. Yeah, we do have that. The majority of the liquidity is still above us, about that 99.2 to 99.300, which is where our golden pocket and the top of that pitchfork is, the top of the bearish pitchfork is. So I could see us coming up here to grab that liquidity. Now, this 99.2, 99 liquidity is because we have our range highs there, and that those stops are above that range high, this range high here. So of course that liquidity is going to be just a bit above those highs. People give a little breathing room for their stops. And it's very possible that we continue this kind of slow out. Well, this was a quick pump, but on the hourly, we've kind of been continuing this trend to the upside. It's a possibility that we continue the trend until we actually take all the liquidity above us. All right. And then as far as CVD, let me refresh this just to make sure it's fully up to date here. All right, let's dive into this here. Yeah, no local bearish CVD yet. I mean, but look at today, as far as today goes, look at our open interest. Look how healthy this push up has been with our open interest. You can see our CVD is increasing. That means fresh market longs coming into the market. And we know they're fresh market longs because our open interest is increasing as well. And they are successfully pushing the price up. Another thing I want to go into today, guys, let's go back to the Coinbase chart because I have my Coinbase point of control on there. And on this dump that Jason actually longed earlier today, if we go onto the 15-minute chart, you can see that it was acting as resistance for a bit in here. We flipped it to support right here. We just barely got above it, flipped it to support, pumped up to that daily level. Now, that rejection was from a daily level. And I deleted the daily level, but I believe it was... Actually, let's just go ahead and mark it out so you guys can see. So that daily level was right here. Daily, and then let's go back to that 15-minute chart. So you can see that, well, we got... Did I do that right? Hold on. Yeah, that was the daily level. Okay, so yeah, that daily level was around 97,600. So we did pump quite a bit past it on the first try to break it. But I believe it was the hourly candle. We only left an hourly wick down there. Yeah, you can see here on the hourly chart, we got a pretty big wick above that daily, but we couldn't close the candle below the daily, and then we dumped back below our large range point of control, but we're able to reclaim it very quickly here. And once we reclaimed it, we pumped up, made new highs, came up to the value area high of the range where we're at now. Get rid of that daily. And so now what we can look for, if we do pull back from this value area high, we can look for, first and foremost, this point of control, this large November 11th point of control might be flipped to support. I do not like how it is so much below our 18-day, 19-day point of control, where our 0.5 would also be, or the value area low where our golden pocket would be. And also we have this key liquidity down there. But this is, for right now, Bitcoin's looking strong still. We are starting to see some bear divs on 15-minute and under. If we can get one more push up to grab this liquidity into the golden pocket, that would be nice to see. But for now, we'll just keep an eye on what's happening on the charts. And if we do see a confirmed SFP, I will look for the short. If we do not see the confirmed SFP, I will not look for the short. I do think a pullback is due soon, though, because I do want to see this as a wave one impulse, see a grab of liquidity, a pullback to a key support level, and then see our third wave explosion all the way up to 103 or even higher. Yeah, let's see. That's about it for Bitcoin. Trying to think of what else I wanted to show you guys. Oh, let's go actually into this chart here and look at this. This is that big daily bullish pitchfork. And through the entire range, the pitchfork band has been holding as support. And just recently, we started kind of losing this band here, not seeing clear. But now look at, we're pumping above that band and we're getting back above the band, the lower part of the band. And so the upper part of the band, we still do have that daily that's in confluence with the upper part of the band at 101,300-ish. And then our anchored VWAP is up there as well. That's from the all-time high. It's near it. But yeah, if we zoom in on this, let's zoom in on the 15-minute chart. You can see that right now we're breaking above it and we're actually even flipping it to support. Rejected us here, finally broke above it, flipping it to support, and look at, we're continuing higher. So it is a good sign, at least locally. It's looking like we're trying to flip it back to support and continue higher. Bitcoin's just looking strong. I mean, look at 15-minute green dot just printed too. So Bitcoin is looking strong, and maybe we see this continue up just a little bit higher. All right. So for Ethereum here, Ethereum is still in our resistance box that I talked about yesterday. It is the golden pocket and the value area high of this range. You can see we've kind of tried to get above it a couple times, but we're still finding resistance here. Ethereum is just not moving near as nice as Bitcoin. Now, this is the same 19-day range that Bitcoin's in. But I do like, if we can break this, so far we're still struggling with this. I'm going to get rid of this golden pocket, but just know the golden pocket's in this box as well. If we can get above this purple box now, then we can maybe pump all the way up to the top of our channel, which is also around our daily up here. And we have a swing failure pattern of the range highs up there, this range here. Actually, these highs are even closer to that daily. So just, I mean, we have a few semi-equal highs up in this box area up here. If we do reject from where we're at now, we are seeing the rejection from the value area high a couple times here. And if we do come down, looks like we're trying to hold this point of control as support now. Let's look locally here on this fib pull. Oop, I'll change that. Yeah, I mean, we already bounced from the golden pocket. So you can see from the low to the high, the golden pocket is where we bounced here, came up, tried for the value area high again. So I don't like this golden pocket as much now because we did already bounce into it. But the golden pocket from this low here at the bottom of the channel to the highs, let's look at our 0.5. Yeah, I mean, 786 is near the bottom of the channel. That's the only confluence we have, really. But this point of control now, you can see it was acting as resistance in here, resistance up here. Flipped it, kind of flipped it to support here. Yes, you are seeing wicks both above and below it, but overall, the trend was kind of it was acting as resistance. Then we flipped it to support. So do we come down here again where we have our local liquidity grab as well? This liquidity from last night's dump is into our point of control. And that could be nice. Actually, let's look at our 382. Yeah, okay. So in a strong trend, the 382 often acts as support resistance. Well, this has been a pretty strong trend, not as strong as Bitcoin, but it's been pretty strong. So even if we reject from this value area high, maybe we come down to our 382 point of control level, grab this liquidity down here into our 382 and point of control, and then we can see maybe this break. So that would be the first local support level I'm looking. Now, if Bitcoin starts dumping really hard, the thing we have to be careful for, guys, is because Bitcoin's kind of been pumping straight up for 2 days with almost no structure. Even if you go on the hourly chart, the thing's like, straight up here. The thing is, if we do start to get a bigger pullback, we can start to see a squeeze of all this liquidity. We have a trail of liquidity of all the longs through here. And we know it's new longs because our open interest has been increasing. So if we do start to lose our trend of that channel, we could see a big, like if we start to lose really the point of control area, 97.4, we could dump really hard. So we do need to be aware of that. And if Bitcoin dumps hard, of course, Ethereum's going to dump hard as well. Let's go to Ethereum again. But right now, we are holding our trend. We are still finding resistance at this value area high area. It's also our golden pocket up there. And if we do come down a little bit lower to grab this local liquidity into the point of control and flip this to support, then I think we'll be able to finally break this and see a real breakout, up to at least the daily at 28.83, but maybe even higher. I mean, we do have a more macro golden pocket up in this box here. Swing failure pattern into our more macro golden pocket up here at 29.27 to 29.90. Now, we are going to have some new naked daily points of controls, but the day hasn't closed yet. So actually, that's kind of where we're at right now, is at that naked daily point of control position. But that's also why I like to make videos right after market close, because we can mark out the new naked daily points of controls and kind of have some more confluence for our levels to watch for. But yeah, we'll just, let's keep an eye on this local support level. Keep an eye on this resistance. It's still acting as resistance. If we break this, I do think we're at least coming up into the daily around 28.83. Solana. Now, Solana's been really interesting. And guys, I've been talking about Solana a lot because I've been trading Solana personally. I've been looking at Solana a lot more than Bitcoin lately because, oh, let's go to the 2-hour chart. So, and someone actually asked me this in my comments yesterday. I actually have to say that I marked this out wrong. When I clicked this low here, and I came into my templates and I clicked poor lows. And so they asked me what a question about poor lows. Let's see here. What do they ask? Super as usual and always learning. How do you find poor lows and how do you use it as support resistance? So I think you asked this question because I had marked those out as poor lows. Now, first of all, that was not a poor low. That's actually a very healthy low. But what poor lows and poor highs are is it's pretty much a low where there's no wick here. Like on this low here, you can see this is a healthy low because we have this wick to the downside and clearly it's called a buying tail. So we have this buying tail here where you see that buyers stepped in and were strong and bought this up as soon as it hit our, remember that 161 area, pretty much the exact bottom of this wick was our 1.618 fib extinction target. So this is not a poor low because we have that wick and strong buyers that left the candle behind and pushed the candle up before it closed. Now, like for instance, on this area here, you can see these are kind of poor highs up here because there's not much of a wick up here. There's not much of a selling tail up here. So these were kind of poor lows up here. We made a higher low retracement and then we came and took those highs and SFP'd. So we came up here with these poor highs. We took those poor highs, saw a little bit of a correction to our VWAP, and then now we came up again. So that is kind of what poor highs and poor lows are, just to answer your question. But this should have said prior lows. I just clicked the wrong template. Not prior highs either, prior lows. Okay, so prior lows. That was our flash crash from like 18 days ago. That was our flash crash lows on Solana. And I did say that I was expecting that bounce from 161, where our 1.618 fib extinction target was. We hit it to the dollar and we're seeing that bounce. Now look at this bounce here so far. This looks like a pretty weak bounce to me. And I did say earlier today, before we even came up here, I said that 176 area, about 176 is where I'm going to TP my long from down here. And I'm going to look for a possible short. Now I did short that, but I took some profit when we bounced, reclaimed this VWAP. And I've put my stop to break even, so I might even be stopped out. I haven't checked in the last hour or two. But the reason why look at this. This looks like a bear flag to me. Big correction down here in a wave 3 impulse to the downside. And what do you look for after a wave 3 impulse? You look for a 4-5, 4-5. Like this was a double impulse. So you look for 2 4-5s. And I said, okay, how nice would the 4 wave to bring us up to the bearish backtest of the pitchfork that we lost, the pitchfork band that we lost. It's also in confluence with our prior lows that now might be flipped to resistance. And then we could see a 5, 4, 5 into this key area here, which is our macro 6-5 golden pocket, a naked weekly point of control, and a swing failure pattern of a major key low. So I am still looking for Solana to possibly reject from this area. If it doesn't reject, I do think we're coming up to the top of the band, which is also in confluence with our golden pocket and the value area low of the range that we lost. This is the 19-day range here. So it's our 19-day range value area low. Okay, it's actually shifted down a bit now. Let's do this. Don't like that either. Then I would be actually looking still at our golden pocket into the top of the band. Just a little bit of a wick past our value area low here. And actually, technically, we should be pulling, this was kind of our range, and then you can see we clearly lost it. So you could actually even, wrong thing. You could pull this value area low and just end it like here right before that mega dump. And so the value area low would correlate with this anchored VWAP, golden pocket, and top of the pitchfork band. But this to me looks very bear flaggish. I mean, like, look at this. And then also this in here, it looks wedgy to me, but also I've been following this channel in here. So let's turn on that channel. Let's go zoom in onto like the 30-minute chart. And you can see how nice this has been reacting here, this channel. And so I've just kind of been watching this channel. Let me make sure those highs are good. Rejection from midline, rejection from midline, rejection from midline, you know, and so, and you can see the VWAP's really holding his support all day long here, but we are at that level where our back test of our bigger pitchfork band that we lost is happening right now, and I am expecting a pullback from this area. If we don't see it, if we finally flip this to support, then I do think we're coming up to the golden pocket at 188 to 189. We have our anchor VWAP up there, and we also have our value area low up there. So that's what I'm looking at on Solana. Now, if we do reject from here, what I'm actually looking for, I'm not going to be looking for a higher low to come in. I'm going to be looking to come to, this is our more macro 618 at 160. You can see we just barely front ran it. How often do you leave? And I checked multiple exchanges, by the way. We did front run it just barely on multiple exchanges. So how often do you get that close to a macro golden pocket, front run it just barely because your 1.618 target was just above it, and not come down and actually hit the golden pocket? So I do think we can still come down and hit the golden pocket, and then maybe see another 4 to the upside, and then finally finish our fifth wave at 155 here. That's just a speculation that I have. It doesn't have to happen. If you do think the low is in on Solana, that we just front ran this golden pocket, then what you'd want to do is you want to, if we pull back from where we're at now, you do your local golden pocket pull, and you look at your golden pocket and look at the liquidity of the second pivot of the channel. So often I talk about the second pivot of a channel. If you see a rising channel or a descending channel, and you break that channel either to the upside or the downside, oftentimes you'll sweep the liquidity of the entire channel. But on very bullish moves, you'll sweep the liquidity of the second pivot of the channel. We'll look at where our second pivot of the channel is, right at our golden pocket. So if you do think the low is in on Solana, if we break this channel to the downside, then we have the SFP of these lows at 166 into our golden pocket here. That is what you're going to want to be looking for as your long area. That's your first area of support here. And so let's see if it rejects here. It's still early. I do think we can hover around here for a bit, especially if Bitcoin's going to try to push up to that SFP at 89.9, 98.9, excuse me. Then Solana might chop for a bit in here and then see the dump. If we start losing this channel, I do think we're at least coming down to the golden pocket. But yeah, overall to me, this looks bear flaggish. Now, I don't think it's the bear flag's actually going to play out. Let's speculate if Solana's really like collapsing from the whole Argentina's, meme coin scam thing that happened. And I heard that Hayden Davis killed himself, or supposedly killed himself. He was the creator of the Libra coin and Trump's coin as well. But he was found dead today, supposedly by suicide. I don't believe it. I believe he was taken out. But anyways, look at where our bear flag target would be, right around the pitchfork midline of our major pitchfork, around 137. Gosh, if Solana drops to 137, I'll be a buyer there for sure. But it's a possibility. This does look bear flaggish. I don't think the full target of the bear flag will play out though. It could though, because if we are looking at this as that double 1-2 impulse, our 1 2 1 2, third wave down, 4 5, maybe our 5 comes all the way down to the golden pocket, then we see another 4 and then a 5 down here. I mean, that does have some symmetry there. Except you'd want that 1 2 1 2 here, third wave, fourth wave here. First fifth wave would come down to 155. Then you would come up and then you'd see that move down here. Now that means your third wave target would be close to your fifth wave here. You want your third wave to be the longest, especially in a double 1-2. But this is just speculation based off of this bear flag target. and I'm not really trading it as a bear flag. So we're at our resistance now. If we can break this, we're going to 188. And which is our golden pocket. By the way, that's the golden pocket from the wave 3 highs to our wave 3 lows here. This big impulse down. Now to the downside, I still do think, like I just covered, local resistance is local support, excuse me, is 166.4. If we break that, we do have our golden pocket at 155 that I'm really looking at. Naked weekly point of control, 0.65 golden pocket, swing failure pattern of very key lows. Let's go on to the 6-hour chart. You can see these very key lows before this radical impulse to the upside. Now, this impulse was one of the strongest impulses we've seen on Solana. Like, look at this impulse here. And so if we do see the SFPs of these lows, there is a lot of liquidity that was resting here from all these people that long this, and it might still be in their trades, because you got to think a lot of people are longer term traders too. A lot of Elliotians are actually as well. So that 155, I just think it's looking juicy. Looking juicy. All right, that's about it for Solana. Let me go on to the other Solana chart real quick, because I think I have... Yeah, and we did lose that bigger channel that we've been in for over a year. So let me now as well, guys, the back test. So if this is our wave 3 correction to the downside, the back test of that golden pocket at 188 is also the back test of that big yearly channel. This channel, this pink channel where we rejected from the midline up here, this channel goes back to December of 2023. So if we do come up here, back test this, and then we could see a giant rejection down to 136. That's a possibility. As far as smaller channels go, it does look like we could be forming this smaller descending channel here on the downside. Let's see if we bring it to this one. Yeah, I do think this looks pretty nice here. Let me try this pivot real quick and see how this one looks. Ooh, actually that one looks a little bit better. So I'm not paying super too much attention to this channel, but we are in this downtrend on higher time frames. And the top of that channel, look at that. It's also confluence with our gold. So 188 is really a strong resistance. If we break the 176 level we're at now, 188 is our golden pocket, our golden pocket of this last impulse down. It is the top of our bigger daily descending channel to the downside, and the bearish backtest of our bigger ascending channel that we've been in for over a year, plus it is the top of our pitchfork here. So 188 and the value area low of our range before we broke it to the downside. I do think 188 is a level where I will definitely be looking for a short if we get up there. Definitely. All right, that's it for Solana. Now, XRP here. XRP, let's actually zoom in onto the hourly chart. So we're still kind of just chopping around the top of this channel. We re-entered this. Remember, we were in this channel. We had a fake out to the downside. We're able to re-enter it, reclaim that anchored VWAP here. And we are busting up near, yesterday I did say the level to watch for a rejection was our 786 and anchored VWAP. Well, we didn't quite touch them yet. You can see here, we didn't quite touch them yet. But we're kind of chopping around at the top of this channel here. And actually, this does look kind of bull flaggish to me. Your pull, your flag, and maybe we shoot up and take these highs up here. Or I did say if we break this anchored VWAP in 786, we're probably coming up to this area here where we have the weekly, we have the value area low of our last prior daily range that we broke to the downside, and our 786 is up here. So 302 to 305. If we break 275 to 277, 276, then we're coming up to 302 to 305, I think. And then to the downside now, what we can do is, well, first off, we did front run this area here where we have our point of control of our smaller 19-day range, which has probably changed now. Let's actually look at that. Let's go here. No, it's still the point of control. So we have the point of control of that range. We have a naked daily point of control down there and our 786 down there. That 786 is from this low to this high here. Or maybe it was this low. And we did front run that just a little bit. So if we do kind of make a bigger channel, actually, I'm going to delete this channel now because we've had some chop in it, but I am going to look, let's go on the 2-hour chart. And I do want to look at this as a channel. So we're going to go from the last highs here to our high now, and let's bring it down to this low that we saw a couple days ago. All right. Yeah, I mean, it is being respected here. So let me make it pink just to make it stand out. Okay, this looks, I'm going to actually hide this for now, though, because I want to show you guys. This is our range, our 19-day, 18-day range. You can see we are holding the value area high now as support. We have flipped it, and we're trying to hold it as support to continue higher to 302 to 305. So this, if this holds, and we don't have a fake out rejection from this anchored VWAP in 786, then I do think we're going to come up higher because we are trying to flip the value area high to support. Now, if we dump back into the value area high, there's a couple things we can look at. We can do our very local range pull from the lows to our highs here. And our golden pocket is right at that anchored VWAP. That was the anchored VWAP from these lows down here at the bottom of the channel, at the bottom of our much bigger daily channel. Let me zoom out onto the daily. So you can see in this daily range here, we've kind of been trading in the bottom part of the channel, then we broke to the upper part, and now we're trading in the upper part of the channel. But these lows are very, very key lows because they're the bottom of this bigger daily range here. Let's do this pull. Yeah, okay. And so not only do we have our big point of control here, but we have our small point of control there, and we have a naked daily point of control there. So that this area at 240, 241 really is a key area of support because it is our bigger range point of control, our small 19-day range point of control, and that. But let me go back to this local support that I was just showing you. So this low is our key low here. I mean, now we actually do have this low as well. This was kind of the flash crash craziness though. And we're flipping that anchored VWAP to support. You can see we finally broke above it, and we just back tested on the daily here and held it, and we're breaking above. So I'm going to delete that for now. But this prior low here that was the low of the range, this anchored VWAP has been pretty important. You can see resistance, resistance, support, support, broke through it, kind of back tested it. Now we're continuing higher. So now our local, our very, very local golden pocket is at the anchored VWAP that we finally flipped to support. So if we do come back into our range, this would be the first area I'd be even interested in taking along, but I really would. It's a more dangerous long. Let me say that if we dump back into the value area, this is a risky support level, risky long. The better area, the far, far better area is this area here between 242 and like 241, 240-ish, 239. That is the area I will definitely be looking for long because it's three major points of controls: our large range point of control, our 19-day range point of control, a local 786, and then the naked daily point of control. All right, that is it for XRP. Let's go into Link real quick here. Link is kind of in the same thing that Solana is in. You saw this kind of dump to the downside, and we've just been chopping in this channel. It is a lot more boring than Bitcoin lately, but you can see our support box did hold. So we hit into our support box, which was the SFPs of the lows of the range here. And we also had, I believe it was a 786 down there from this low to the high that we made on the dead cat bounce. And so we bounced from that area. We had that box marked out. Actually, okay, I didn't put anything in it. But we had that box marked out. You can go check prior videos. I had that box there before we hit into it and we bounced from it. And then we did a higher low back test towards the top of the box, bounced. That's where I made the channel based off of these two lows here and this first high up here. And then we've been chopping in this channel for a bit now. We did actually bounce from that local 786 too. That was local support that I think I talked about in yesterday's video. but I'm going to delete this box now because this box is played out. All right. Let me go ahead and pull this value area all the way. So what do we have to look for on Link? We have these local golden pocket is still at like 18.8 to 18.9, where our point of control of that range is as well. That's our 19-day range. Point of control golden pocket is above us. If we keep chopping slowly in this channel until the channel reaches that area, I do think it's more likely that we see a breakdown. So if we just keep doing this and then come up here where the channel is aligning with the POC and the golden pocket, maybe we see that. But if it starts really breaking out, say Bitcoin breaks its range value area high that we're at now and starts consolidating above it and it looks like it's going to keep pumping, then our big level, our really big level is this 20.4 area, 20.5. First of all, we have 4 semi-equal highs of this range. 5 actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them up here. And so that's at like pretty much $20 up here. And we to see the SFP of that high into this naked daily point of control, and we have our golden pocket in this area as well. So that's why I'm looking for really like 20.2 to 20.6 is our next level of resistance. And then, of course, if we break that, we're coming up much higher, where our much larger golden pocket pull is from the highs of the channel down to the lows of the channel, the much bigger descending channel on the daily chart. And we have a naked weekly point of control up there as well. 22.7 to 23.4. And then to the downside. Now, guys, not much. If we do break this channel down, I mean, I do think that this could be. This was all a range in here, and now we're breaking it down. Is this a wave 2 before we see a third wave to break down with impulse to start the impulse to the downside? Maybe take the liquidity of the flash crash lows on the impulse, make a lower high, and then our 5th wave could end at this key naked weekly point of control golden pocket area at $15. Maybe. I would say I just don't like the way this is rising in here. Let's look at our volume on this. So yeah, I mean, look at this. Volume is kind of, let me pull this away so you can see that. We are seeing some spikes of green volume in here, but volume is not showing the best here. Let's actually go onto a larger time frame. Yeah, you can see all of our major spikes of volume here are in red. Red at the bottom of it, and then our big spike here is in red. I'm going to be watching for this area for a short. Just based off of, and even if this is an ABC correction, with this being our A wave here, this being our B wave up to the golden pocket, and then our C wave could, come down here. Actually, we can speculate on where our C wave would end. Now, this is completely theoretical because we don't know where our B wave is topping yet. But let's say our A wave is here, and let's say our B wave ends right at the 618 of the golden pocket. So our 1-to-1 would be about 16. But remember, the key common targets for an ABC correction are your 1-to-1 to your 1.236. Those are your most 2 common targets. So the 1.236 would be a liquidity grab of our flash crash lows. But if it's an impulse down, your 1.618, guess where it's at? But in that case, you would see a 4.5 as well to go under maybe. No, sometimes what you see, if you see an impulse down, let me fix this real quick. Let me turn off the volume. All right, sometimes if you see an impulse down, you would see your wave 1 here, your wave 2 would come up to the golden pocket, your wave 3 would come to this 1.618. That's the most common target for a wave 3. Your wave 4 could come back test. I mean, your wave 4 could come common targets on the retrace of the wave 3 are from the 0.382 to like the 0.5. So let's just say it's the 0.5. So I'm just going to estimate about half of that. And then your wave 5 could be a truncated wave 5 where you just come a little bit lower than your wave 3. That could end your 5-wave impulse. And of course, this would be usually your wave 4 is symmetrical to your wave 2 as far as time length, or it's way longer. There's also something called the rule of alternation, but I won't get into that. All right. So that's about it for Chainlink, guys. Let's do ADA real quick. ADA here. Yeah, ADA is still chopping around in the same zone as yesterday. I mean, we're starting to form a range up in this area here. We are in the bigger range, but we're towards the... So, a couple things here. Value area high. We're rejecting from the value area high a few times here. But remember, it was also the bigger descending channel midline. You can see this dotted white line here. It's also the ascending channel pitchfork midline. So it was really strong resistance, and that's why we're having trouble breaking it. So we did front run our support here on this drop, and I would like to see us come grab that. But this here, this could actually, this kind of does look like a little mini impulse here. And what do I mean by that? You have your wave 1 here, your wave 2 here. Your wave 3 is your most explosive and longest wave. Maybe we make it, if we end it here, you can see your wave 4 correction down to your VWAP here. Wave 5 maybe up there. Take the liquidity of this high, then see the dump down into the value area low golden pocket. That's a horrible looking 5-wave impulse, but yeah, so we're near the value area high in the channel midline. We're still just chopping in this smaller range. So what we could do here, we can measure the volume profile of this smaller range. And yeah, we're at the value area high of that smaller range right now. That's why we're seeing the rejection there. So let's do a Fibonacci pull of our current 1 hour move to the upside from low to high here. All right, so your 0.5 is around your value area low of the smaller 1 hourly range here. I would say that is a valid area to look for a support level if we think it's going to continue higher. Let's look at yeah, I would say trade this range until it breaks this small range as well. So if we do come down to that 0.5 in that value area low, you could look for your support, local support in here, but we are rejecting from the value area high of this range. And even if we break this, the bigger value area high is just above us. So let's actually pull this all the way. And I do like this area here. Let me extend this up just a little bit now. Okay, value area low and golden pocket is down here between 72 and 71.5, I'll say. 72.16, 71.43. This here's a weekly, and probably our 786 is there. Okay, so that is it. But let's zoom out on this and let's take a bigger look at this. So let's go to the 6-hour chart. You can see that we obviously have this clear impulse up here. And we've been correcting here sideways. And look at this correction, first of all. Look at this here. Clear 3-wave correction. 1, 2, 3 wave. That was your first ABC. 1, 2, 3 wave. Second ABC. So that's a WX. We could be seeing a WXY correction. 1, 2, is this? Well, this is clearly an impulse to the downside. This was that crash here. So it looks like we're in a bigger, larger, complex correction here. And where can we look for that bigger complex correction to end is the question. Where can we find support on that bigger? We did bounce on that flash crash from the pitchfork band here, our bigger, much bigger pitchfork band, where you can see we rejected near the highs at the top of the pitchfork band. We were trading up in the pitchfork band here once we lost it. You know, now the midline of that same pitchfork band, let me actually get rid of this so you can see it clearer. The midline of that pitchfork band is now acting as resistance, 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 resistance. Also, our descending channel is kind of the trend of this correction. But where can we end it? You know, that's the question. Is it ended here? Are we going to continue higher? It could be. That's a good ending of a correction. If not, I do think, I mean, I wouldn't want to go down to the bottom. Let's see, actually, here. So you're 1, 2, 1, 2, third wave here. You're in a 4. Now your 4 is always usually longer than your second wave here. Your 1, 2s. Your 2, excuse me. So yeah, I mean, these highs are really what you don't want to break down from. So let's look at these highs here. They're here. It's near the bottom of the pitchfork. So I would say we'd want our this liquidity grab. Let me here into the bottom of our pitchfork band. We would really have to. No, it's not really aligning anymore. I would say the correction could be done. ADA could explode to the upside from here. The other thing that we might be concerned of is maybe we're going to come take some of this wick liquidity that we left behind. Yes, this is a strong buying tail in here, but I do look at the bottom of the band is aligning with that SFP. So that's kind of like worst case scenario that we come down to 55 cents. We still have not hit our golden pocket from this low to this high. And actually now it's changed. Let's do golden pocket pull from here to now. This one here. Maybe I already put that. Yeah, okay. So never mind. I've already got the right golden pocket there. And you can see the SFP is there. So I do think that 65 cent area, 66 to 65, would be kind of cool to come down to, because we do have this local liquidity from the bottom of the this first kind of channel down. Yeah, okay. So 66 cents would be a nice long area. 65. I need to start pulling these boxes more. Ah. Okay, that's it for ADA. I'm gonna do Tau real quick, and then I'm gonna call it T. Was it TAO? This can't be right. Okay, there we go. Oh, it looks like I did some on this a little while back. This can go now. Cool. So looks like last time we came up into this box, we did see the rejection from that box. That worked out perfect here, which was also that 786. Then we came down to our golden pocket and our swing failure pattern. We got that as well. So that worked out as perfect too. And look at the push up from that. Okay. We did not come up into this area yet. And this golden pocket's going to change now, though. Okay. Let's just start on the weekly. Is this really what I have to work with? All right. Let's go on to the daily. Nothing. This daily's still fresh up here though, so that's good. All right, so that's kind of what we're looking at on the daily. The whole thing is kind of one big sideways range, which, like, right before that, we're at the value or the point of control of that range. You can see point of control was support, 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 broke it, resistance, resistance. We're kind of at that resistance now. It's kind of a big range though. I don't let's pull it from after, like, right here. Okay, same point of control. Just the value area high and value area lower changed, but I do like this because we do have this. Let me just delete this. So daily value area high, and it's near the top of the channel. Okay, we're gonna do a fixed Fibonacci pull from the highs of the daily to the lows of the daily. Golden pocket there is right in that weekly, but let me check something first. 68. Okay, we're good. So golden pocket right in that weekly. So I would say right away, this here is a major resistance level. Whoa. Ah. See what we're about to experience right now. What I don't like about this 1 2 1 2. I mean, this could be super bullish for Tau actually. If this is a double 1 2 to the upside. You have your low here, you have your 1 2 1 2. After a 1 2 1 2 3 maybe all the way up here. 4 5 4 5. Maybe that's a bullish scenario. Bearish scenario is after this low here, A, B, C correction down. All right, let's do a little bit more here. Man, this does actually look pretty good for a double 1 2 right now. This is pretty symmetrical. You can see between this 1 2 1 2. Now it could be even a triple 1 2, which is pretty rare, but you have a 1, at least on larger time frames. 1 2 1 2 1 2, and then like push up. Yeah, all right, we see like right here after this kind of correction to the downside. We're going more sideways from there. So what we can do is look at a volume profile of just this sideways price action. Yeah, we're coming near the value area high, which is also the point of control of the bigger range. Bounced from the value area low of that range. Also, have we hit the 886 yet is what I want to know. Yeah, it looks like we have hit the 886. That's where we're rejecting from, the 886, or we're finding resistance right now at the 886. So what that tells me is these highs are going to get taken eventually. Look at this also. Double highs there. Pretty much. Or I guess not. I guess that grabbed the liquidity of that high. That's why we dumped. But this high here looks like we're going to come take those highs eventually. So I would be actually looking up towards this golden pocket and weekly up here at 562. Yeah, it doesn't look that bad. As far as no, we're not seeing any divs on the 4-hour. Let's go on to the 1-hour chart. No bull divs. Money flow is starting to look like it's topping out though. Let's go to the 2-hour. Yeah, money flow looks good on the 2-hour still. Green dot just printed. No, it didn't just print. It's looking like, I mean, we are at a rejection area. We're at the bigger point of control, the smaller value area high, and it's our 886 area. So even if we see a pullback, look for a higher low to come in to then continue. So, okay, let me actually do this. Let's delete this here and let's hide this bigger range. But let's look at this area here. This is equal to Bitcoin's 19-day range. So let's do this here. And we are above the value area high. So now do we watch for the value area high to flip to support and continue higher? Let's go ahead and do a Fibonacci pull from the high to the low here. Well, okay, the point of control and the weekly are in confluence. So that is a resistance, and our 886 is also down there. So if we reject from one 886, you could come down to the other 886, but then, you do eventually want to take this high though. Let's look at the golden pocket. Let's do one more thing here. Let's go from our lows of the range all the way up to our current highs of the range. Golden pocket is below us. I mean, I do like this weekly and point of control here at what is that 359.7 is a support level I'd be watching for a long. If you think that this is going to make a higher low and continue higher, which it's a big possibility actually. The only problem is you don't really want to retrace that much. Let me check something real quick. Oop. We're going to see where the other 1-2s retrace to. So we'll go from the bottom to the top. Let's look at our golden pocket. No, let's look at our 786. So it didn't make it down to the 786, but it also. All right, about the golden pocket is where that one retraced to. Now this one's going to be a little bit different because it was such a big liquidation wick. Golden pocket, though, about front ran it. Wow, that's annoying. Yeah, huh. So it went a little bit past it here. It front ran it here. Doesn't tell us much. Actually, I see. pretty nice ascending channel here. Let me. This actually does look better than the other one. So I'm going to leave it at that high because it looks better. So the SFPs of the high would be at the top of the channel, about 510, 511. That's where we could look for a pullback too. Yeah, I mean, we're at the value area high of this range, this big sort of bigger range sideways part here. But this one's kind of a tough one, honestly. Mm-mm. Look at this is a nice head and shoulder, inverted. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, explosion out of it. Bottom reversal pattern. That's a bottom reversal pattern. I mean, we were in this channel here. You can see we broke out of this channel. Let me turn this blue so you can see this. So today was actually a really important breakout. Look at this bluer descending channel that we've been in. You know, high here, high here. Last time we SFP'd this high was into the top of the channel, dropped to the bottom of the channel, just like Chainlink went from the top of the channel to the bottom of the channel. Now we're breaking out of the channel with a huge spike in volume here. So what do we look for? The second pivot of the channel as our liquidity sweep level, one of our liquidity sweep levels. So I would say, you know, I still do think this golden pocket weekly is important up here at 562, but also the SFP here into our daily at 601 is pretty important. That's also the value area high of the bigger area. And actually, let's do this. That's why that was extended there. And the SFP here. Okay, that is about it for this. It looks like this thing wants to keep going. And if this is a double 1-2-1-2, then it does make sense. Actually, let's do this real quick. Trend-based Fibonacci extinction from the lows to the highs to the lows. And wow, 1.618. But let me, yeah. So look at this. Our 1.618 is right in the purple box of the SFP of the second channel pivot highs. So we were in this descending channel here. We broke out of it today with a volume explosion to the upside. Oftentimes when you do that, you'll come up to the second pivot of the channel to sweep the highs of the second pivot of the channel. Well, the second pivot channel highs are right into our 1.618. If this was a double 1-2 with a third wave coming up here, and we have a daily up there, and the value area high of our much bigger range is up there. So it looks like Tau could come up to this $600 area, $588 to $600. But the problem with that is this is a strong resistance, being a golden pocket and a weekly level. Let me just check something. No. See, you can't use fibs based off log scale because when you do that, it brings the golden pocket all the way down here. And clearly that's not a 61.8% retrace. If you just understand, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Different things. Like you could see like this. If you want to say what is 61.8%, it's going to be, I don't. I don't know what I'm trying to explain to you guys. If you know how to eyeball things, like you know how to eyeball a half where half is around. If you see a move, you can eyeball half. Okay, from this low to this high, half is going to be around this area. What's 61.8%? Maybe there. It's about 2/3. So that's, yeah. Never mind about that last 20 seconds. Money flow looks strong here. Look at this on the 12-hour money flow. Actually, this looks, wow. This looks really good here. Look at lower lows here, higher lows all through all this. Money flow is bottomed out, curving up through all of this. Tau looks like it. I mean, this looks good. Thank you for putting me onto this. I'm going to wait for a pullback, and I think I'm going to look for a bigger long on this. So now what do we do if we want to look for a pullback here? Well, we broke out of this channel with some volume today, and we could take this here if we are going to find local resistance here. If it does take some time, we chop for a bit, that golden pocket's there. But if it's a quicker pullback, that 0.5 is going to be right here at the back test. So 408. And let's do that range pull again of just this range here. Yeah, around the value area high. Okay, I'm not going to include that last impulse down in the range. That you shouldn't be including that last part of the impulse down in the range. I know Jason, a couple other guys do it. I don't like to do that. I just base it off impulse and corrective structure. So the value area high is around that 0.5, which is around the back test of the channel that we're breaking out of. So what is that? 415 to 408 would be where I'd be looking for a higher low to come in to bounce and maybe continue higher. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day.